time, spent a lot of time writing in the Nixon White House. And then by the time I got to work with Reagan, I had all those writing skills of persuasive communication. And Nixon taught me a lot about political writing and the fact that you can't write long dissertations. And when I left to work in the campaign with Reagan, the point is to pay attention to what Reagan was saying. And I tried never to foist myself upon Reagan, but to learn from Reagan as to what he wanted to do, not what I wanted to do. And I listened carefully to him. Reagan and I had one thing in common, which was very important. We grew up in the age of radio instead of television. And the two of us, when I was a kid, I didn't have television until I was about 8 or 9 years old. So I listened to radio. And when you listen to radio as a child, you create images in your head. And so that helped a great deal with my writing for Reagan, is that I was able to provide creativity by doing illustrations. In my mind, I would create in my mind's eye images that it's the same kind of imagery that Reagan loved to have in his speaking and his engaging with the public. And he was always on stage when he spoke. It was not just in front of a camera, but he dealt the camera as if he were speaking to somebody right in front of him, making eye contact. And so, and he would, when we traveled in that aide campaign, for example, whether it was in a bus or in a car, and I was sitting next to him, he would look out at the crowd and he'd say, he would note the colors of the flags that we drove by. He would note the colors of sunsets. He would note how people would wave to him. And I would sort of absorb that as we would go along. So I don't know how, it's just a combination of learning what he liked to do. And so I'd say I learned persuasive writing working with Nixon because you were constantly defending policies that were very difficult to defend, the Vietnam War and controversial issues with an adversarial Congress that you had to persuade. So you were constantly doing persuasive writing, and with Reagan, you were doing a combination of persuasive writing and creative writing to capture his sense of illustration and creativity. And I wish I had the magic for it, and that's why I write in the book when Dick Dorman said to me, one of Reagan's aides, he said, "Is there a book on speech writing that you could show me?" And I said, "Dick, there's no book on speech writing. You can't learn speech writing from a book."